So I went ahead and got my ancestry done. And I got a couple of issues with this whole ancestry.com thing. There's some things that I have an issue with. So you're going to want to watch this video all the way through. And I promise you, you're going to be surprised once you take a look at my ancestry, at my DNA chart. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before we get into the results, I just want to give y'all a little context on why I decided to do my ancestry. And long story short, it's pretty much why everybody does it. It's just you want to get to know yourself a little bit more. You want to dive deep in your family history. You just want to see where you come from. And unfortunately, for my people that look like me that come from America, we really don't know exactly where our people came from. There's so many lies out there. It's so much history that's just been washed away, deleted, and so on and so forth. And, I'm just doing this as an attempt just to dive a little bit deeper, just to help my self-development, my mental, and just to see where I come from so I can know where to go a little bit better. And so, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into these results. All right, boom. So let's check it out. I'm here at the Ancestry website. Once you make an account, you pretty much have like lifetime access to see this information. And this leads me to one of my issues with this ancestry. So I didn't just get my ancestry done. I got it done a while ago. But the information has changed from then till now. And I don't know why. I mean, my DNA didn't change. I wasn't born within these past couple of months. So I don't see how the information could change. And this makes me want to question, how accurate is this ancestry and what are they hiding? Okay, so let's get into my results, man. Y'all see me, ethnicity estimate. Your boy, they say I got 25% Nigeria. Okay, cool. Sounds smooth. I ain't tripping. I like Nigeria, Afro beats, I'm a piano. They're my people, man. You know what I mean? Cameroon, Congo, Western Bantu peoples. Say I got a good 17%. All right, sounds smooth. Then we got the Mali. Shout out to the Mali Empire, Massa Musa, Massa Akubari, man. I got 16% of me. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all love. So here's where the information started to change from when I first got my ancestry done till now. So it says right here, indigenous Mexico, northeastern Mexico and South Texas, and southeastern Coahuila, and southwestern Nuevo Leon. You know what I'm saying? Central Highlands, northeast Mexico, San Luis Potosí. So I'm indigenous, man. I got that Indian in me, you heard me. I'm native to the land. This is the proof. But this from my Mexico side, I guess. But okay, let's further go down a little bit more. Benin and Togo, okay, 9%. Okay. Ivory Coast, Ghana. I love Ghana. I don't know. I just want to go to Ghana so bad. So I got 6%. I was pretty happy about that, I got 5% of Spain in me. It is what it is, I like Spain, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I just want to, they colonizers, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So I got Senegal in me, 2%. All right. Sweden and Denmark, 2%. I like Sweden. See, I wish I would have had like 7% Sweden. I would have been more happy. Sweden is cool, like France, they colonizers again. You know what I'm saying? I got 2%. So really they infiltrated me. You know what I mean? Scotland, I don't think Scotland really colonized us, so I ain't really too mad at that. Ireland, it is what it is. So if we round it up, I got about 75%. African, so-called black roots in me. You know what I'm saying? You can see it in me, of course. And then I got about alleged, what they say here, I have 12% indigenous Mexico, and then around another 5, 9, 11, 13%. So around 13%, white or European in me. So this is where I have my issue with ancestry.com. So 2 things right here. For some reason, Ancestry has removed all the tribe information from when I first started the ancestry.com. It explained to me what tribe my people came from. It showed us that we were from the Cowantecan tribe, that my bloodline traced back to that. But now all of a sudden the information is gone. So I feel like they hiding that tribe information, and then I didn't even get to document it because I just assumed it was just going to be in here, And so now when I tell my mom, it's like they don't even believe me now. So that's a little bit disappointing from ancestry.com. Like, why did y'all take that out? And so, you know what I mean? They took out all the tribe information, and then the actual numbers changed. So let's get into when I first got my ancestry done. Okay, cool. So I initially got my ancestry done in 2021. 2 years ago, actually, to be exact. And so as you see right here, so let's compare it a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it once upon a time said I was 29% Nigerian. Now it's saying I'm 25. All right. Once upon it said I was 19% Cameroon and Western Bantu peoples. Now it's saying I'm 17. Then it said I was 11% Indigenous America. Now it says I'm 12. Okay. Then it says I was 6% Benin and Togo. Then it said I was 6% Benin and Togo. Now it says I'm 9. It said Spain. It said I was 6% Spain. Now it says 5. It had 4% France. Now it's 2. 2% Scotland, I believe that stayed. And then this is where, and then it explained to me that I have another indigenous side to me. Well, not really a side, but 2%. And this was indigenous in Guatemalan. And they removed that information from the website as well. I can't find that anywhere. And then Senegal. And then, they left out my 1% Ethiopian, man. I love my Ethiopian roots. You know what I'm saying? I love my Ethiopian people. So that's really my problem with the ancestry. Like, what changed? I just didn't lose 4% of my Nigerian, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So this right here, it just makes me question this whole ancestry thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know how exactly accurate this is. I know it's accurate to a certain degree, but to the point where it's changing 4% by the year and 2% on this one. It's just like, what's going on? And then for them to remove my tribe information, and then for them to remove the other indigenous part of my DNA is a little bit questionable. So yeah, man. So that's really one of my issues with it. And also it's showing that indigenous side to it. But also I also hired a genealogist to really kind of break some of this stuff down, because I needed a deeper dive into this, because it's really not making too much sense. I'm of the mindset, and from doing my research that, and just actually looking and observing things, us so-called black people, Aboriginal people were already here. And I needed somebody to really dive in deep on that and to really explore that. So, just watch this quick little clip I'm about to give you guys right here.
Lock the doors, because what I'm about to say is going to upset some people right next here. Okay. Christopher Columbus did not discover America. Exactly. I mean, never mind the question of like how you can discover a place where the inhabitants are watching you arrive from the shore. So anyway, there were actually many other mariners before Columbus that discovered America as well. Decades earlier, even eons earlier, there were so many people that were coming across these islands and this continent. But it's all similarities that between 1920 and 1922, he published an extensive 3-volume piece called Africa and the Discovery of America. For example, he pointed out that Columbus himself was aware that African mariners had preceded him. In his diary of his second voyage, Columbus tells of how the natives of Hispaniola actually had given him gold-tipped metal spearheads that they said were brought by black-skinned people who had come in large boats from the south and southeast. Coincidence? I think not. No. So what's interesting about that, so upon returning to Spain, is that he actually took the spearheads and he sent them away and they had them assayed, and it turned out to be that these spearheads were covered in this metal this alloy that the inhabitants called guanin, and the metallurgists actually found out that this was an alloy of 32 parts. It was like 18 of gold, 6 of silver, 8 of copper, which dun 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 matched the metal used in spearheads made in Western Africa for thousands of years, as carried by medieval African warriors, including the Mali and the Moors. The West Africans even called this metal guanine, the same name used by the natives of Hispaniola. But nothing more was said about that. Conspiracy. Well, probably because, in the interest of Spain, it was in their best interest that they didn't want to have any challenges to their discovery and the claims to the islands of the West Indies. So on his second voyage, which was 10 times larger than the first, Columbus went on a frantic but unsuccessful island hopping trip to find gold and spices. He carried along several natives from his newly discovered San Salvador, which the inhabitants called Guanahanvi. Another island that the natives pointed out was really large and was called Soameto. Soameto. Now, Columbus continued going around whimsically renaming every island he could find, but Leo Wiener, being the curious person and the linguist that he was, and the etymologist, he couldn't help noticing that the origin of these many place names and botanical names in Mesoamerica actually sounded distinctly like other languages in Africa, particularly Bantu and even Arabic. Wiener and numerous other botanists have also puzzled over the presence of certain plants that predated Columbus but originated in Africa. For example, the calabash bottle gourds. Now, this is a species originally from West Africa, where they were well cultivated in America before Europeans arrived. Now, even long before they existed in Indonesia or Polynesia. So, in fact, the Pacific was the last place that bottle gourds actually reached and expanded to. So the Brazilian botanist George Marcgrave wrote that the establishment of a particular varieties of plantains in this region stands as a strong argument for ancient maritime contact between the Americas and Africa. There are numerous pre-Columbian figurines with striking similarities to ancient African artwork, and they've been found in Central and South America. In southeastern Mexico, there are 18 rock statues of heads up to 11 feet tall that are facing the ocean, looking east. Now, archaeologists call them the Olmec colossal heads, after the people that carved them. And they were produced for 50 to 200 years and date from at least 900 BCE, when they were mysteriously buried for some reason. So now think about it. It took enormous effort to quarry these. The smallest one was 6 tons, so 6 to 50-ton blocks, to quarry them and carry them 75 miles away from the quarry, and then carve them and then erect them. These people that they modeled them after must have been important. Whoever they were, they must have been important to be remembered or obeyed or worshipped. Well, Jose Megliar Serrano, the archaeologist who first uncovered them, he pointed out that facial features look amazingly like African blacks.
So like I said, I did some research and I went and hired a genealogist just to kind of explain and to go deep into really seeing, how were the people here before. And so he ended up writing me a whole 50-page paper researching my genetics and just researching history. But genetic analysis in support of the American Aboriginal status. So mosquitoes carrying malaria of the genus Plasmodium, the type that causes human illness, were established in New York at least 15 million years ago. The Duffy blood group was discovered in 1950 and 1955. Many so-called African Americans were found resistant to the P. vivax malaria via paper titled Experimental Testing of the Immunity of Negroes to Plasmodium vivax. These so-called Negroes were Americans. It is believed that Duffy Newell, I don't know what that word means, has an alleged frequency of almost 100% in some sub-Saharan populations, but occurs very infrequently in populations outside of this region. And that a person having this is thus more likely to have sub-Saharan African ancestors. P. vivax malaria resistance was not born in Africa. Vivax malaria was born in the Americas, in the American Aborigines, not Africa or Africans. So pretty much what that's basically saying is the so-called black people in America were resistant to the malaria, the malaria in America, to the mosquito Plasmodium or whatever, and the other Africans weren't. So diving into my genealogy report, I came across this photo. This is a painting of Saint Mary and the Good Winds. Saint Mary of the Good Winds was a patron saint of the navigators and the favorite of Christopher Columbus. The altar painting dates from shortly after Columbus died and it features of what's considered the first and most accurate portrait of Columbus. It's also thought to be the first painting of the American Aborigines done in Europe. The Virgin's Cape seemed to protect everyone under it, including the Americans, and the Americans clearly have afros and the same features as many so-called African Americans. And if you do your research on Mansa Musa, Mansa Akubari, they've been like world sailors, centuries before Christopher Columbus. And, Africa is the first civilization, the first to really do it around the world, the first people of the world. People have developed from Africans. So pretty much for us to say that Africans weren't in the Americas thousands of years before, when it's documented in Mali's history, into Africa's history, that they went on voyages to find new land, years, hundreds and thousands of years before Christopher Columbus. So it just kind of like upsets me that all our history has been deleted. All the history of us being in Americas, all the history of us building the pyramids in Louisiana, pyramids in Mississippi, all that's gone from the Olmecs. All this stuff is gone, and it's just, now I'm just stuck with, oh, I'm Nigerian, da da da, but that's all they give me. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is. But I know the truth. I just don't know the details of the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to show you guys this of the Professor Constantine Samuel of the Primitive Black Nations in America of 1832. So it's just pretty much like documentation of the Black Indians met by the Spaniards in Louisiana in 1593 or 43. The moon-eyed Negroes and albinos destroyed by the Cherokees and seen in Panama. The Manabis of Papayan in Colombia, blackish with Negro features and hair. So it's just different history of so-called black people being in America way longer before. So I just want to go into a little bit of my genealogy report that kind of documents a lot of this stuff that we not taught in history. And so this really opened up my eyes. And so I'm gonna just wrap up this video. If anybody want to take a look at my genealogist report, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I can go ahead and email it to you so you can read all this information, because there's a lot of information just to share on this. And I just learned a lot by just getting my genealogist to write a report and to really dive into my genetics. I learned that so-called black people were here 50,000 years ago, and we were immune to malaria and other diseases that other people from other continents weren't quite immune yet. And so that's right there is proof that people like me were here centuries before, and logistically we couldn't even all came on a boat like that. It wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't have a whole island of Haiti. You wouldn't have the DR. You wouldn't have the people in Colombia, the Afro-Mexicanos, the people from Louisiana, Arkansas, Georgia, all this concentrated people that really look like me. How could it be possible? How could we still survive? And if it wasn't their land, if they didn't come from this place. But it is what it is. History is always his story. But I just want to just go in there, and I just challenge everybody just to do your ancestry, but also hire a genealogist to really dive in to your genetics, so you can really get a feel of where you're coming from and all that. And so I'm glad I did this. Still got the issues with Ancestry. They changing up my DNA. So it's like, what's going on? They taking away my indigenous part. Like, what y'all doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. It is what it is. They take away the information from my tribe, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna trip, but I'm gonna just keep doing me. Peace to the gods, peace to the earth, and off to the next video.